Welcome to the State of Survival. We're taking a dive into a game that plays on your ability to adapt and overcome the uncertainties of when you'll have to start all over again. Don't Starve is a game that focuses on putting you into a world where if you don't adapt and plan, you will perish. Don't Starve takes fear as one of its most important aspects: fear of starving, fear of spiders or enemies, fear of darkness, and much more. Nonetheless, fear is always present. I got two questions for you, Jarl. What do you think of the game's approach to these fears you always face? What fear gets you the most?
Uh, Honestly, for me, this game doesn't really strike me on any of the fears I have in real life. The trouble though is that since children commonly play this game, my kids started when they were 6 and 10 respectively, as well as a good portion of casual gamers, coupled with its hysterical art style, I don't really think this game is actually meant to enhance or feed off of your fears. Maybe there are people out there that are terrified by the things in the game, but I think the cartoonish and funny undertone puts somewhat of a kid glove on the actual fear itself. The spiders, for example, are cute and cuddly looking, and when they attack, their mouths open up to a ridiculous size. Heck, even when you die, the game has some funny commentary from the other surviving characters. It's more of an, oh, well, you died. Give us a moment. We'll come back and bring you back to life. We were laughing at the things my character was saying, like, "Oh, Dump God died. I guess he wasn't strong enough."
I think more or less what I was hinting at was your in-game character's fear, because his sanity does go down with that meter you were talking about. Because there are so many things in the game that are trying to kill you. The dark shadows. I mean, they even can come out and steal your campfire, which is crazy as you start to lose your sanity. And it's just an interesting prospect. But you are 100% right. This game does not play along on a lot of IRL fears. I guess its main fear is the fear of starting over again. I should have really kind of narrowed that down because you are 100% right there, Yarrow. But also in Don't Starve, the world is always different each restart and requires a new approach. However, some basics stay the same for survival. What basics do you think a starting new player or even a seasoned player should know to have better chances of survival when starting in a new world, Yarrow?
Well, first and foremost, you'll lose the first few times. I noticed that when we first started playing, we didn't stand a much of a chance against anything. But
No, we didn't.
after you after you die, you get a few levels in, and then you start to get traits that help you with that early survival. It's almost like the game's underlying message is don't be afraid to fail. Okay. You're going to fail, and then you're going to dust yourself off and you're going to try it again. And obviously, the most important thing is your base placement. It's the most important aspect to your survival. But the first time we played versus the second time we played, we had to change our plans completely. We had an idea on what we wanted to do based on our first experience, and then we went into the second world. And we were like, oh, scrap that, new plan. And I think it's that, like you had mentioned earlier, it's you have to adapt. You have to be able to think on your feet, work in pairs. When it's just the three of us, have a camp mom and have the other two go out, or have all three of you go out. It's important not to go alone. Make beds to sleep at night, because night will be your biggest threat, and it revives your sanity as well as your health. It's very, very important.
Yeah.
Craft hearts. We learned the first time we didn't even do that. We were trying to find those dang resurrection slabs.
Oh my god, yeah.
But once we crafted the hearts, it was like, how does this work? And you had to feed it to the ghost, which I think is really funny. And it sacrifices your health to do so. But if you've got a few straw beds in the inventory, yeah, whatever. I'll bring you back, Dump. Let's just sleep so I get my health back. It's really not the most terrible death system. And even if you fall flat and lose everything and you have to start over, you're still going to have all of those like perks and traits that you've unlocked.
Whether you're playing this game solo or with your friends, because there are two Don't Stars, but they pretty much are exactly alike, I would almost say fire. Torches and campfires are essential to beginning people playing off because the nights will hurt you if you don't have any kind of light source at night. To the seasoned players, I would say getting the scientific machine up as fast as you can and getting a shovel is, in my opinion, paramount because then you can truly start digging up bushes, moving different kinds of other plants, carrots and stuff like that. Actually, not carrots, but bushes and other important features over to where you're starting to base, like Jarl said, so you can start growing your own food supply. And finally, for both new and seasoned survivors, save your food if you can and wait to cook it. It provides so much more food.
In that second game mode, you talked about the importance of a shovel. We found those juicy berries and we're like, these are dope, but we didn't settle anywhere near them. So you went with me until we could find a good place to get ore and gold. We built the science machine, and then you ran back to get the bushes because they were amazing. And we also found out that me using my weights, because I was the strongman character, the very first thing I do after we build a science machine is just kill as many birds as possible so that we have meat. Because although I should be out doing other things, if you ignore food, you're done for.
Yo, no, you're totally right. And oh man, I was having such a giggle when you finally figured out throwing your weights could kill the birds. I just remember the first thing, I can kill birds.
Well, I figured it out because I'm sitting there working out. I'm like, do we need seeds for farming? And you said, yeah, we could actually grow some of the seeds. I'm like, oh, okay. Food, seeds, easy. And there was a bird going down to eat it. And I went, no. And it said toss. And I was like, what? Oh, oh, now I have seeds
uh,
and meat.
Meats and seeds. Um, but that brings me back to your permanent or base or temporary base thing. Do you think it would actually be wise for people to make like temporary, not temporary bases, but like outposts they can go to when they're collecting resources, like possibly places to stay for the night if
Yes.
it gets dark?
100%, because I'm guarantee you a lot of the stuff you need is going to be behind some pretty terrible threats, but before you could deal with them, you have to be able to build some fancy tools. Especially since you might think there might be dogs out there, wolves, spiders, etc. But then things like Krampus happens. Krampus is not a real world creature, you know? Like there's so many wonky things that can happen in that game. I went for a nice gallop through a swamp and found some essential mushrooms and stuff. Was like, man, everybody's going to be so thrilled about this, until I was swarmed with about 400 frogs and I couldn't get out unless I ran through the volcanic lands full of a giant spider or giant fly. Like you need to have some tools to take with you so that you can build in more ideal locations. So the nomad life, 100% a must.
And a question to our community of viewers. What mods do you use in this game to make the game more enjoyable, whether that's more hardcore or an easier approach? Well, folks, I love talking about Don't Starve. I really enjoyed when we played on Jarl of Ghost's Twitch channel, which you can find just down below. Also, his YouTube channel's up here. And I am happy to have our producer, Red Falcon, here, who does so much work off screen, as he is right now recording this and going to be editing this. Thank you very much for watching State of Survival and our take on Don't Starve. Ta for now.
Bye bye.